No, seriously, people are like, hey, Wayne, what are you filming for? People are like, hey, man, are you filming me? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what about my privacy? I'm like, what are you talking about? You're out about in public. What's privacy got to do with that? Anyway, viewers, we're here with a true, a specimen of true grit, shall we say. Jeff, what's your last name, mate?
Adams.
You're gonna have to speak up.
Adams.
Jeff Adams here is the real deal, folks. He's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan who actually is not just talking shit, but actually it sounds like he knows what he's not talking shit, but he's actually making sense in terms of his knowledge vis-a-vis the whole kind of sporadic blah-de-blah and etc. etc. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I should just hand it over to Jeff and we'll just go into question-answer mode if that's okay with you, dear viewers. Jeff, is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right, man. How old are you?
32.
What's so good about the Leafs?
They're probably one of the most revered teams in all of the NHL. They make more money than anybody. They have more fans than anybody. Regardless of how well the team does.
Dude, where were you born?
I was born just outside of Toronto.
All right, so is it a coincidence that you just happen to be a big Leafs fan as well as a born and raised Torontonian, or is it not a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence.
If you were born in Nashville, would you be a fan of the Nashville Kentuckies or whatever the heck they have down there?
The Predators?
Oh wait, hold on, the Minnesota Wild. Let's ask that question. They're a pretty good team too, aren't they?
They're a pretty good team.
So what makes the Leafs better than the Wild?
I just think, believe it or not, it is the fans. I think Toronto has the craziest fans in any sport.
Well, you know what, quite frankly, in order to put up with such a losing team for so many seasons, I think you might be onto something there. So, but what else? What else? I mean, the fans and what about like the team itself in terms of their achievements?
Well, you know, besides the Montreal Canadiens, they've won more Stanley Cups than anybody else. The only team that has won more Stanley Cups, obviously, is the Montreal Canadiens, and I feel the only reason why they've won more Stanley Cups is because back in the day, they were the only team that was allowed to draft anybody that was born in Canada.
Interesting. You know, I actually had no idea that the Leafs had won more cups than anyone else. Actually, you know what? The fact of them having won even one Stanley Cup is a surprise to me. But to know that they actually won more than anyone else, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. And then the Canadians, you say, are number two. The Canadians more or less do kick ass in ice hockey. Then
they do. They do.
So how come all of our all of our so-called patriotic Canadians are down south playing for the States and selling out? I might as well just say it, right?
I have no idea. I think it's a money dispute. I think it's the fact that they would rather be paid in American dollars than Canadian dollars.
Is it that there's less, there are not enough spaces out here, not enough teams for to house?
Definitely not enough teams.
Listen, man, you're heading out, huh?
I am heading out.
Listen, I am going to put this up on my YouTube channel. Actually, hold on. Here's the thing. Let me give you a card, Ryan, and if you want to, you can shoot me a note and I'll send you the link. How does that sound, buddy?
Works for me, pal.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much, man. You're a stand-up guy, man. You really educated me and my viewers today, and we thank you for that. Take care, bro.
You too, pal. Thanks.
All right, so that was, what's his name? Ryan, did he say Jefferson? Anyway, now that we got the camera out, and knowing that we don't want to put it back in, we're going to walk up and down the train and continue this exciting documentary on life and the various personalities one finds on a steel tube shooting down a dark tunnel in the middle of the night, practically in the middle of the night. I asked some fellow on the platform what the deal was with all the people. He said to me, he was like, this is Toronto. I was like, what are you talking about, man? It's like 11 at night. Where are all these people going or coming from? And then people ask me why I like living in Toronto, and you know, what makes Toronto a better place to live over and above Calgary. Now we got a TTC personnel here, and he's actually eyeing me up thinking, what's up with this guy? Oh, sorry, I can't zoom in on this phone, dear viewer, but you're gonna have to believe me that the guy's staring at me intently, as it were, wondering, what is this guy up to? Is he on the phone? He must be on the phone. In any case, no worries. Rather than walk over there and risk exacerbating an already deteriorating situation, I think I'll head me back down the other side and see if we can meet any interesting personalities down there. Apart from this girl over here, I don't think there's much life on this side of the steel tube. So, continuing our discussion. Once you've lived in Toronto, and I won't say visited, But once you've lived in Toronto, you're not going to want to live anywhere else. Now, I have come across the occasional person who has visited, quote unquote, Toronto, and it turns out they just, look at that kid over there. I don't know if you can see that kid jumping around in the middle of the train like he owns the damn place, viewers. But I've told that kid not once, but twice that he should be sitting down. And he knows I'm on my way back down there. Maybe that's why he's piped up the way. But we'll see. In any case, people have told me that they've visited Toronto. You see? You see? There's some of these kids, man, the more you tell them, the worse it gets. Versus, there's some kids that are so like piped down, like you're trying to give them freaking steroids in order to get them to sit up and do something, as opposed to
Bloor Station.
Oops, sorry about that. Man, you guys aren't worried about it? He's like, it's dangerous, huh? Alright, whatever. So, they say that they've visited Toronto, but they haven't. I mean, actually, they haven't seen the city. It's like I had this buddy in Calgary, Lee. Forget his last name. He was my gym buddy, my workout partner, so to speak. And he was like, yeah, I went to Toronto. And it's like, I was there for 2 weeks. I was like, where were you, man? Because it didn't make an impression on him. And I was like, okay, so how is it possible that you went there and you didn't like it? And he's like, well, I had a buddy and he lived on Church Street. I was like, Church Street? He's like, yeah, that's where we hung out. We went to pubs on Church Street. I was like, okay, bro, you need to really see Toronto, right? And it's not freaking Church in Gerrard or Yonge or whatever. Look at this stuff. It's like 11 at night. All these beautiful people. One of them might actually be real. You never know. You never know. You might find a real person on a train. I mean, obviously most people are walking zombies, myself included. But you never know. You might just meet someone interesting. You might you know, get into a life-changing situation. I mean, the downside, of course, is that you might get into an altercation. Like I was on the subway I think it was like 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I kid you not, dear viewer. And what happened is,